Hey YouTube, I am here once again to do a review for another one of Tyler Perry's good ones. You know what it is. It's If Loving You Is Wrong. This is season 3, episode 13, titled Hanging in the Balance. Now, before I even get started, you already know this is becoming the typical routine. Please subscribe. I am on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and I know I can make it. Thank you for you returning subscribers. I love you all. And for those of you that are new to this channel, click that subscribe button. Thank you. Okay, so let me just get right on in here. If Loving You Is Wrong, yes, like I said, season 3, episode 13. This episode, it wasn't bad. But let's just say it shouldn't take me a lot to get through it because we're just kind of reliving a lot of things. Nothing was like brand new information. But anywho, it might be considered kind of like a filler episode, but not a bad one. Anywho, let me just get right on in. So, started off where it left off, with Larry getting into his car outside of Randall's house. He has just gotten Randall to sign the papers to sue Brad. Now, he had made the phone call to Ian that he was going to send the papers over, but the papers are not going to quite make it to Ian because guess what? Our favorite villain, well, not my favorite. I personally don't care for Eddie, but yes, Eddie pops up out of the back seat, has a gun to his head. Now, Larry is not the type of person to just fold and be like, okay, what do you want me to do? Take all my money? I'm so sorry. No, Larry is a slick lawyer, and he's going to be just as slick with you. If he can find a way out of a bad situation, he will do that, whether he's in the courtroom or it's real life. So basically, he kept trying to catch Eddie off guard and kind of try to hurry up and get out of the car or try to move the wrong way or try to get out of this chokehold that Eddie basically had him in. Eddie wasn't going for it, and he's telling him, you don't want to leave this area, that'll be really bad, and trying to talk legal terms to him and how Eddie could get in so much trouble. Eddie doesn't care at this point because Eddie, his ultimate goal is probably to kill Larry. So you know what? Eddie is I'm sick of this, and he just knocks out Larry, and he gets into the driver's seat and then proceeds to drive away to some undisclosed location. Okay, meanwhile, while this is going on, Ian is trying to call Larry's phone. Larry isn't answering, but there is a press conference that he called for Travis's family. Not he as in Ian, but he as in Larry called for Travis's family. And of course, they want to get on the news because at this point, Travis has died, and so this is major. So this is the absolute wrong time for Larry to be disappearing with Eddie. So whatever the case, goes to commercial break, comes back. We all of a sudden see that Eddie has chained up Larry, similar to the way that Larry chained up Eddie. So he has one arm over here, one arm over here, and it looked like maybe he was in a truck or a storage of some sort. We later on find out that it's a truck, and it's probably in the middle of nowhere, and he is just torturing him at this point, and he's like, oh yeah, how you like that? How you like that? I know you like this type of stuff. That's the way you have me chained up, and everybody at the office is making fun of me and wah, wah, wah. So anyways, enough of that. We already know Eddie's getting a kick out of this. Okay, so at this point, Ian is at the office. He is stressed out, okay? He is in need of a smoke break at this point because the crowd is gathering. Larry still won't answer the phone. Some assistant comes in hey, where's Larry? Can you still not get a hold of him? Ian is I don't know. I can't get a hold of him. So then all of a sudden, Lucien calls Ian. So there's multiple fires for Ian to put out at this point because Ian supposedly gave Lucien the contact information for another lawyer that he referred to to Lucien for Kelly. Well, this lawyer is not answering the phone, so Lucian is flipping out at this point. Like, look, we got to do something. This girl is innocent. Did you give me a fake number? I mean, come on. Like, do I need to call the people? And Ian is like, look, there's a lot going on. I'm going to get on it. I'll get in touch with another lawyer for you. I promise it. And then he's like, Lucian is like, okay, at this point, all I can do is trust your word. Okay. So then we go to Brad and Alex. Okay. At this point, like, Dumb and Dumber, like, they get on my nerves, okay? They are a married couple, but they don't act like it, okay? And you're really not acting like they're thick and thin. If you're not going to break your nuptials or your union together, if you're not going to break it, then figure it out. But anyways, so Brad walks in to let Alex know that he's going to work. She's like, okay, do you need some lunch? No, he doesn't, of course. She's like, okay, well, do you need anything from me? Are you coming back? And at this point, he's like, yes, I'm coming back. And I'm like, Brad, you need to make up your mind because you break up with her like every 30 minutes. And it is an emotional roller coaster. So the next thing you know, Alex is like, you know what? I'm so sorry. I'm just sorry that I even got us into all of this. What can I do? Can I do anything to make it better? And Brad is like, you know what? It's simple. Just don't go over there. Don't go over there. She's like, I didn't go over there. And he's like, and at this point, I'm going to believe what I want to believe. But do not go over there. Do not talk to him. Just don't say anything to him. If he tries to talk to you, just pretend like he is like invisible. Like you could just see straight through him. Like he's not even there, okay? Make him be a non-factor in your life. And so she's like, okay, I won't talk to him anymore. I promise. We all know that she shouldn't have said that because we know that's a lie. So anyways, so next thing you know, we see we're back to where Larry is in this truck in this undisclosed location. So he's waking up because he has kind of like passed out or something at this point. Yeah, probably from when like Randall knocked him in the head. So he's waking up. So then he's like getting beat up and basically Eddie is venting to him like, you know, the girls saw me, they took pictures of me, it's around the office, everybody's making fun of me, you thought that you could just like treat me any type of way and you had me in bondage and all this stuff and like I'm sick of this and you're gonna get your payback. And like Larry is like kind of scared at this point because he's like, wow, this dude is like in like real life crazy and I don't know if I'm going to be able to talk my way out of this. So he's just like beating him up like really bad at this point. Okay, so then we see Esperanza. Esperanza is at work, so she goes to go check on Kelly because Kelly is in her cell. Kelly, every single time Esperanza comes around, Kelly tries to like dry snitch on herself. Like, I can't believe I did that. That was so bad. And I'm in here with like all these crazy people. Like, girl, you're one of those crazy people, okay? Like you straight up killed the dude. But I mean, it was a build-up. She just didn't come out of nowhere, but like, yeah, I'm not even getting into the Kelly thing, okay? But she knows she did, and she needs to stop snitching on herself, okay? Because it's already looking bad for her at this point. Okay, so, but basically, she's worried about justice. Esperanza's like, don't worry about it. We're going to get him out of school. He's going to be well taken care of. She's like, I just want you to check on him, make sure, you know, his behavior isn't changing or anything. And I really need my lawyer. And Esperanza's like, I got it, girl. We're working on it. You are going to be fine. Not really, but let's just tell her that, okay? So the next thing you know, back to Brad and Randall. So Brad is walking outside his house. Randall is outside of his house. Randall is like all arrogant and like smirky and stuff. And he's like, have you been served your papers yet? Your lawsuit papers? And Brad is like, no, I haven't. And he's like, oh, well, it'll happen any minute now. No, it won't, Randall, because your lawyer is a little tied up right now. But literally. But then Randall is like, I can't wait till you get served. I'm going to own this house. As a matter of fact, I'm going to own you, you know, just like I owned your wife. But, you know, I found out she really wasn't worth it. So Brad is like, oh, yeah, just like I'm owning your wife, you know, and she's having our beautiful baby boy that's kicking And he's like, so Randall is like, it hit a soft spot. He was like, kicking, the baby's kicking. Y'all know that's all Randall wants is like a child. So this is like torture to him at this point. So they keep going back and forth with that. And I think that Brad is kind of turning into Randall. Like he just tries to like taunt him every chance he gets. And Randall is like, he ends up being the one to walk away in most situations now. So Randall walks away. Okay, so the next thing you know, we get to Esperanza and Lucian. So they see each other at work. Lucian asked Esperanza, did you talk to Kelly? Esperanza, of course, she tells him she talked to Kelly and all that. You know, she really needs her lawyer. So she asked, did you talk to the lawyer? And so Lucian is like, well, I can't get in touch with the lawyer. Now I'm trying to talk to Ian. And she's like, you can't get in touch with the lawyer. Do you think he even gave you a real phone number? Is this a valid recommendation? You do know that his connection to the family, right? Travis's family, like he might be purposely trying not to help. And I'm just letting you know right now, I was watching the press conference. Those people, his mother, like people at his church, his fiance, all of them are saying Kelly was stalking Travis, like she was obsessed with him, she killed him. They sound really convincing, okay? And perception is reality at this point. We know she didn't do it, but the rest of the world is going to believe that she did it, and it's really not looking good for her. She really needs a fantastic lawyer at this point. So he's like, look, I totally get it. I'm working on that. So then Lucian is like, oh, by the way, you should stop fraternizing at work. And she's like, what are you talking about? He was like, stop fraternizing, okay? First, it was you and Eddie. Now you and Steven. She's like, oh my gosh, did he tell you that? And he was like, no, but you did. She's like, oh my gosh. He was like, I'm just telling you, because it starts off as like, oh, he's a nice guy. We hang out. Oh, he's the greatest thing ever because it's fresh and new. And then he turns into like a thin line between love and hate. And it turns into Travis and Kelly. And she's like, point taken. I get it. So she's just going to keep that in mind so that it doesn't like turn crazy. I don't know. Who knows with Eddie too. So whatever. So then we see Alex. Alex is in her bedroom. No, she's not in her bedroom. She's outside. She's walking the baby in a stroller. Randall is always outside at the perfect time. He walks up to her. He wants to see the baby. She's like, get away from me, get away from me. Like, she's not supposed to be talking to him. So, but of course she's going to protect her child. She's like, get away from me, get away from me. And he's like, oh, I just want to see the baby. Does it look like Lucian yet? Yeah, Randall is going crazy. He wants to know who this baby's daddy is because he can't believe that she was cheating on her husband and on him. But we'll find out about that eventually, hopefully. So then we see she slaps him. Like, she gets mad because he keeps following her back and forth. She slaps him. He's like, ooh, I like that. And she's like, get away from me, and slaps him again. And she was like, he was like, oh man, I love it. Like, this is exactly how we used to be. You remember I used to slap you, you know, in places that you liked. And she's like, get away from me. I am so mad that I ever even met you. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, girl, you just let him get to you. You're not even supposed to be talking to this man. Okay. So the next thing you know, she's like walking like away from him, but towards Natalie's house. Then Natalie conveniently comes out of her house and she steps in like, Randall, don't try me or you will get cut. You already know I'll do it. And he's like, girl, get in the house. She's like, no, you need to go away. Leave her alone. He's like, mind your business. Get in the house. So she's like, oh my gosh, like falls on the ground. He hit me. Help, help. Somebody call 911. Like, just like plays like victim out of nowhere. So of course he's freaking out. He's like, stop doing that. She's like, help, help, help. So then he just leaves like, look, I don't have time for this. Alex isn't smart enough to like act crazy with him. So whatever. So then Natalie gets up, and after Randall walked away, you know, Alex is like, thank you so much, Natalie. You know, once again, I want to apologize for, you know, that whole screw up between like throwing Lucian's name in the mix. And then what's her face? Natalie is like, no, I get it. It's not a big deal. I'm not even mad. But you need to figure out what to do with Randall. Now I'm telling you, you need to fight crazy with crazy. Like he acts crazy, you need to act crazier. As a matter of fact, you know him well. You need to fix this situation, not you and Brad. You need to fix it. You need to set him up. And I'm like, yeah, if y'all listen to Natalie, you're dumb, okay? Because Natalie was always the one giving Kelly advice, just like she gave her the number to the lady that had like the gun that connected back to what Ramsey, like all bad. Like stop listening to Natalie. Natalie should just shut her mouth and stop getting her name involved in mess, okay? Whatever the case, like she should just tell her, just leave Randall alone. You can't fight crazy with crazy. You come at him crazy, he's gonna come at you crazier. And the difference is he enjoys it. Like this is life for him. Like it gives him an adrenaline rush. Don't do that. So whatever. Of course, Alex is gonna take her advice and she's gonna do it anyway because Alex is just stupid. But whatever. Natalie ends up walking Alex back to her house. They go inside for some wine. Okay. So then Marcy, we get to Marcy and Ian. So Marcy shows up for dinner with Ian at the restaurant. They kind of do like a quick recap of like, because she was on the phone trying to figure out what was going on with Kelly. And he's like, yeah, I know that she's innocent. And she's like, how do you know? She was like, well, he was like, well, she talked to me. But let's not get into that because that's client lawyer privilege. And she's like, well, I thought you're not her lawyer anymore. He's like, yeah, but she's my former client. I'd rather just not get into it. So she's like, okay, whatever. I respect that. So then she notices Esperanza and Steven from across the room. So she gets up and goes over there. So she notices they're on a date. Esperanza is kind of trying to play it off like she's not on a date. She's like, oh, this is my friend from work. We came after work. And so then Marcy was like, right. You definitely look like you got on work clothes with this off-the-shoulder dress on, this tight date night dress. And she's like, oh, I just keep these things in my trunk. She knows she's lying, but whatever. She was like, girl, just call me later. We don't even have to talk about this, but just call me later. And she's like, okay, cool. So at that point, Esperanza is worried that now that Marcy knows that all of her friends are going to find out in some type of way, everybody's connected to what's his face, Eddie, and Eddie's gonna find out and it'll just be a mess and drama. So Steven is like, don't even worry about that right now. We're having a good time. He's not gonna find out. It's all good. And then Esperanza was like, said something about I don't drink much. And he's like, yeah, you just drank one whole bottle. And she was like, look, okay, I need liquid courage when I'm around you. I don't know why. I just get nervous. And I think it's because she actually likes him and she's like scared to like him. So that's why she needs that liquid courage so she can be this like, oh, I'm in control, Esperanza. Although she's really not. But whatever. Let's just let her think that. Okay, so then last scene, Alex. Alex is in her house. She's putting her baby to sleep, puts her baby down in the crib. Then all of a sudden she starts hearing loud music outside and laughing. Well, we already know that this is Randall. She should have just let him be. But she wants her baby to sleep like with, no disturbances. So she goes outside, tells him to turn it down, talking to him once again, and he's getting a kick out of this because he knew that was going to lure her out of the house. So he's not listening. So she gets the water hose and starts like spraying it like in his car. He's like, calm down. Are you crazy? This is her example of fighting crazy with crazy. Okay. It's just going to get worse. Then he's like, get away from here. So next thing you know, she gets in his car to turn off the music, taking it a step further. So he pulls her out of the car. She's like, get your hands off of me. Whatever. Then, so she's butthurt. Like at this point, she's talking to him, so she's about to get everything off her chest. She's like, why would you lie to my husband and tell him I came over here? He was like, you did. And she was like, you're lying. You know good and well I didn't come over here. I never came over here. And then Randall was like, oh yeah? Well, Marcy and Brad are having a baby together. You know that, right? And she was like, no, they're not. He's like, yes, they are. She's like, no, they're not. It's your baby, actually. Check the calendar and you can check the dates and you'll see that it's your baby. So just leave us alone. Leave me and Brad be. So she's dropped the bomb. She already know that Brad is gonna be hurt over it. Like Marcy's his wife, like, and not Alex. Like, girl, I would have told him a long time ago. Get out of my life, okay? Your real wife that you're still legally married to, she's pregnant. So go, like, have a happy home. Work that out. Whatever. Anyways, of course, in perfect timing, Brad starts like rolling home, but he sees her outside talking to Randall, and that's the one thing he asked her not to do, but she just couldn't help herself, and he just like speeds off. Like, girl, that's all I needed, because I've been halfway in and halfway out anyway. So the moment you do one thing wrong, I'm gone. I'm on my way over to Marcy's house, and I'm just gonna help raise her baby because she doesn't seem difficult to me right now. But anywho, as always, yeah, it was a decent episode. I hope you enjoyed the review. I will be back for the next Tyler Perry shows. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet and you made it to this point in the video, subscribe. And check me out at mrsblogaholic.com. Bye.